Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today is Tuesday, the 9th of November, 2021. And we're producing our Tuesday morning gold and silver price update forecast and daily news. With the dollar index dipping slightly below 94, we can see gold and silver prices rise ever so slightly. And, according to rumor, the potential that the President of the United States may change the chairman of the Federal Reserve for a more dovish candidate, then of course we can see quite a nice tailwind for gold and silver should that happen. Let's take a look. Welcome to Illuminati Silver. It's Tuesday, the 9th of November, 2021 at 10:15 a.m. The weather today: parsimonious. Yes, parsimonious normally means unwilling to spend money or commit in that way. And looking at the weather, we've no idea whether it's going to be nice or not nice, because it hasn't made up its mind. It's not willing to commit. Therefore, it's parsimonious. Now, one thing that's not parsimonious is the rise of Bitcoin and Ether cryptocurrencies, who've now, yesterday, hit their all-time highs. And we're talking about cryptocurrencies. Can you see this headline on the left-hand side? Digital euro likely to become legal tender. Really? A digital euro will probably become legal tender in the euro area if the European Central Bank proceeds with launching the new form of money, Executive Board member Fabio Panetta said. It's a likely outcome. This will be examined in the next 24 months, Panetta told a panel Tuesday in Helsinki. He cautioned, however, that achieving legal tender status should not be taken for granted. Such status could potentially give the central bank-issued digital currency an edge over other forms of electronic payments in Europe, which aren't currently recognized as legal tender and therefore aren't consistently available to consumers as a payment method. If the European Central Bank manages to make its digital euro cost-effective and guarantee its usability, that could allow for a more widespread adoption than critics of the project assume. Panetta pushed back last week against arguments that a digital euro will be redundant amid other alternatives, saying the central bank will ensure it's attractive enough to incentivize its use. Yes, the one irony of the whole concept of cryptocurrencies is that gold and silver stackers have for a long time believed that governments are aiming, in fact, moving rapidly towards a pure cashless society. And the irony is that cryptocurrencies are achieving this in droves. Ask anyone aged under 35 what they're putting their money into right now, if they are putting any money into anything. However, there is a lot of money going into equity markets. Treasuries climb on Fed speculation. US Treasury yields slipped Tuesday as investors speculated about the leadership of the Federal Reserve while stocks were steady. Shorter maturities led gains in Treasuries following a report that US President Joe Biden interviewed Fed Governor Lael Brainard, seen as more dovish by some for the central bank's top job. Meanwhile, concern about inflation risks dragged the yield on 30-year Treasury inflation-protected securities to a record low. If Brainard gets that job, be under no illusions equity markets will go through the roof, because he is so dovish, he is just going to spend, and keep monetary policy as dovish as possible. Business news in the UK. Look at this. Rolls-Royce gets backing for mini nuclear reactors. We reported yesterday this is the way the UK government is going to solve the energy crisis in time. Primark, a leading clothes store at the lower cost end, admits struggles with rising costs. The fashion retailer's annual sales are down 12% on pre-COVID levels. In the US, looking at this in all honesty, not much in terms of economic news. In fact, if anything, it's a deviation away from economic news in the US. Obama nowhere near where we need to be yet. And that's to do with climate change. Okay, let's have a look. What's happening financially? Dollar index dipped slightly. We mentioned yields had fallen just below the 94 level, 93.92. We don't think it'll stay there that long. Energy prices up because obviously the dollar is down, but up under $1. Equity markets on a tear, up the Dow Jones 0.25% yesterday. When we say on a tear, we mean cumulatively, not in the day, but cumulatively. However, Asia Pacific, less convincing, with a few of the markets down up to 0.8%. But so far, Europe and UK broadly positive, up to 0.25%. Now, economic news. We mentioned in our weekly update on the weekend not to expect a huge amount of economic news this coming week. And there will be a lot of central bank presidents and chairs speaking. However, in terms of hard data, we have the NFIB Small Business Index for October, the Producer Price Index for October, and real household debt. Tomorrow's a little more interesting because we'll have the jobless claims and the Consumer Price Index and core CPI. In terms of gold and silver, actually edged up. Gold, $7. So we're now at 18.25. And if we compare that to Friday's close of 18.18, as you can see, we dipped initially, recovered, dipped slightly, and now we're holding at this exalted level. Silver also up 23 cents at 24.45, which, bearing in mind on Friday, we closed at 24.19, so we are up a nice healthy 36 cents. And as we said in the weekly update, we should expect to see prices rise in view of the dovish tone and the lack of data, but it would all be dependent, frankly, on alternative investment options and the value of the US dollar. So we've got a fillip here because the dollar dipped below 94. Cryptocurrency market just shy of 3 trillion. We said it'll be 3 trillion by the end of the month. Could even happen in the next couple of days. And Bitcoin soaring to $68,000. Yesterday we produced 2 videos. Gold and silver morning update, and then we produced one yesterday evening. Not a very pretty thumbnail, but we thought some people who don't like banks might appreciate it. Why we need banks and are they here to stay? We'll put a link to that in the description box below. Do tune into that. Not many people have viewed it. We know it's not the most interesting of subjects, but it does take an interesting point as to why we vilify banks and yet still not only depend upon them, but actually take out new products that the banks themselves have either helped create or support. That's it for now. Gold and silver prices, they're going to be where they're going to be in terms of really geopolitical announcements, if any, today. We cannot see major moves in either direction, quite frankly, unless, of course, something rears its head. But on the economic front, there's not an awful lot to excite it or depress it. Thank you so much for listening. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, press the bell sign. Until tomorrow. Illuminati silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners.